like the girls with their nails done now.
So it was a quick introduction about Bilal Ilyas. He is very talented Tekken player from Pakistan. His main is Brian Fury, and he also win the Tekken World Tour 2019 LCQ using Brian Fury. So Bilal always wanted to use a golden ever, and I prepared a golden ever with standard setup for him to begin with. At Tekken World Tour Bangkok, Thailand, finally I meet him. So I gave him the golden ever and he started using after it. And now it's been about 9 months and the standard setup works great for him. The only thing he wants to adjust is the tension. He wants a slightly lower tension. This time I will show you a golden ever I built for him. He liked the black Battop, so this time I will build a silver black golden ever for him. I will explain one by one the parts I will use in this build. This is a 45 silicone turquoise. I choose this instead the standard blue 50 because Bilal want a slightly lower tension. This is a medium light tension. For the bushing I will use a silver bushing and ring because the medium light tension it is good to have a light actuator. Aluminium is light so it is perfect for the setup. It can reduce bouncing on light tension. And for the switch I will use the Omron 1A6, and for the color I will use a half circular color, this one. And for the shaft I will use 8.5mm shaft and standard white core. For the spring I will use a medium spring, it will go before the bushing and ring. I choose Omron switch because it's a good and reliable switch. Okay, let's start the build. First we put the core into the silicone, so you put like this. Put it the core sideways and stretch the silicone, then push the core. Next we will install the switches onto the base. Insert the nuts into the base and put the switch. Then insert the screw and you will need to reach the nut. You will need a little bit of patience to reach the nuts, but it will be easier after a couple times. When you start feeling that the screw reaching the nut, you can start screwing. But you don't need to fully tighten it because you will need to adjust the switch spacing later. And then put the second screw, also the same. You don't need to over tighten it. You will need the switch adjustment later, and do the same for the all 3 switches. Okay, all the switches are installed and the next step is to insert the silicone into the base. So you put the orientation like this. The one with chamfer is facing to the switch, this one chamfered, facing to the switch, and the flat is facing to the Battop. Insert it and make sure it is flat. Then put the collar. And next, you put the plate and tighten it with the long screw. Okay, we have halfway finished and the next step is switch spacing. So to adjust the switch spacing, you must loose all the screw of the switch. So the switch can be moving a little bit. So you need unscrew a little bit all the screw on the switch. And then make sure all the switches can be moved freely. The next step is put the switch spacer. We will use a default switch spacing for golden lever, this one. It have one knot, it is a 15.5mm spacing. Then it's okay, you cannot put it wrong side because it cannot fit in. So it can only fit when it is in the right face or orientation. So you push the switch to the center, push using your hand, and then tighten it. You don't need to over tight because it can damage the base. Just put enough torque for all the screw, and then do the same for the rest of the switches. Okay, then it's finished, and then double check and make sure no screw is loose and it's all good. Then you remove the spacer. And now the base is complete. And for the actuator, use a black bearing actuator. The size is 16mm actuator. This is a standard size. And next step is insert the shaft. We use a 8.5mm shaft. Insert it. And then insert the spring. It's okay, you can insert a spring in both ways. And then put the bushing. This is a silver bushing. And for the black bearing actuator, it's okay to put on either sides because the side is the same. So you cannot go wrong with the both sides. And then put the ring. This is a silver ring. Push the actuator and hold it. And then you clip. This is E5 clip. The size is 5mm. Then you insert and snap it using pliers. And now the lever is almost finished. Check all the actuation. And then you put the washer and put the handle. Screw it in clockwise direction. And then you tighten it using a screwdrivers. Please don't use a small flat screwdriver like this because it can damage the shaft. Use a big flat screwdriver like this. Wider tips like this will give a better grips and can hold the shaft firmly and not chipping the slot and damaging the shaft. So you can tighten it as hard as you can. And then make sure nothing is wrong. And now the lever is finished. And for Bilal, I hope you will enjoy your new lever and wish you good luck in the future. And for FGC, as always, thank you so much for supporting our projects. I wish you enjoy your life and see you again soon.